the more you can dial in and really understand your audience, the easier it is for them to connect with you. Okay, so I want to make sure that we're uncovering some of the essentials in that strategy, in your niching down, because there's a lot of resistance, there's a lot of mistakes made, and there's a lot of sales being cost or blocked. We really want to talk about how to position yourself, particularly in the mind of your clients, to ensure that you get more sales. So what's funny is that what's probably not funny is that I was saying today to one of my clients, she did her first webinar. Webinar is a great way to get people into your mastermind. She came straight out of the gate with her webinar. And what struck me immediately is that she's a psychologist, clinical psychologist. She made it really easy for people to understand her concept because we'd worked on her message to market. We'd worked on her signature system and how she packaged that up. It wasn't just mindset, right? Like we weren't just sharing, oh, hey, here's how to improve your mindset. We had drilled into her positioning as the entrepreneur psychologist, right? But she's not going to these deep, complex, technical, information or messages that are going to overwhelm people. What she immediately did was clearly articulate the problem that her specific audience had better than they could. So immediately they recognized, they were called in, they recognized that she knew what they were facing, and they could start trusting that she could get them out of that problem, over that challenge. When you do that, you win time and time again. It doesn't matter how big your audience is, right? It doesn't matter how fancy your marketing is, what logo you've got on your website, right? When you have the ability to just step up and connect and clearly articulate the problem, the specific problem that your specific clients have, you win every time, okay? And it's very easy to start moving. Everyone's asking the wrong questions. They're asking, what should I use Kajabi or Teachable? Or they're asking, well, what should I call my business? Or, what color should I use in my logo? They're the wrong questions to be asking. I want you to be asking questions. How can I come and deliver value? How can I express the value that I deliver? How can I find my people? How can I narrow it down and get even more specific? Are you hearing me on this? It's probably something you have been very, very challenged by, because when we start out in our coaching consulting business, what we do is we want to get as many clients as possible. We're totally, it's an exercise in personal development, right? Like we're sitting there going, is anyone going to buy this stuff? We're working so hard that we don't really feel connected with the end, with our client, with the person who's going to buy, or with the customer, right? Like it feels, we can do some work in our head and it can feel very theoretical, but when we actually start immersing ourselves in the mind of that person and creating a way to express how we can solve the problem and articulate the problem, that's when things start flowing. It's very difficult to do on your own. It's why I do it with my clients in my mastermind, because, and trust me, I have the same thing. I had a tantrum about it just the other day with my sister, who's a messaging and content expert. She was helping me just kind of put some more pillars down in my message, and I was just like, oh, this is so hard, right? It feels so hard and it feels so scary. So I want to make sure that we've got some frameworks around that for you today. And please ask questions as we go, because I know things are going to come up, or I might skip over it. Like I say to my clients, you can be at level 11 and your person listening in or learning from you is at level 1, and you forget and you start to be layer in a little bit too much. So I may do that. Nobody's perfect, right? So please pull me up if that's the case. A niche is a specific group of people who have a problem you can help them solve with your talents and abilities, okay? Look, it can also be called a target market. Niche is a bit of a funny word, but anyway, it's your target market. It's your people. It's who you want to provide valuable offers to, okay? And the reason we want to select a niche is so we can get more momentum and connection. Things happen so much faster when we dial in. I like to call it, or I like to relate it to dialing in, and this is probably showing my age, but the old dials to dial in the radio, like you're in the car and you're putting, the old, we might call it in Australia a tranny, right? Transistor radio, where you are dialing into the station, and you've got to get it right on, those old analog dials, you've got to get it right on the right frequency to hear the music clearly, right? And that's really all you're doing with your own niche. You're dialing that in, because when I roll my dial over all the different stations, all I hear is static, right? So the same is true if you are trying to open up your message, your market, right? You're opening up that message and the market, either one or both, or one of each or both, right? So you are trying to appeal to too many people. You're thinking, well, I don't want to rule anyone out. I need all the clients I can get. All they're hearing is, right? So it doesn't resonate, right? But when you can clearly articulate that problem that your specific audience is facing, then you win every time. Funnels be gone. Who cares about all the fancy marketing and the tech? Like you win. You demonstrate your value really clearly. An old marketer, Dan Kennedy, talks about this as dog whistle marketing, right? You want it to be the dog whistle to your perfect people, right? That only they can hear it. It's so specific, okay? So that's where we are with a niche, right? And you need to select a niche who already know they have a problem. This is another one. You can get so crazy with your niche that people don't even know they have a problem. Then you get stuck in education mode, okay? Then you're having to prove, first of all, the concept before you even talk to them about how it's not working for them. They have to know they have a problem so that it's easier for them to choose you to help them solve it. Okay, so try it. This can happen particularly with experts and practitioners, specialists, professionals who know their subject matter deeply, right? Or all the elements of it because you've taken a lot of time to go deep there. What you need to almost be is a translator. How do you make that easy for the person suffering from their problem to understand and choose? All right. So often you could be using too many technical terms, or you could be, just basically going way too detailed and complex. And a confused mind says no. You're going to block conversions. So try and go with the audience that already knows they have a problem. Firstly, doesn't mean you have to be generic, because one of the first common problems is people want to go too broad. They want to talk about mindset. Okay, I'm a mindset coach. Okay, great. So would you, if you were, thinking, oh, I'm lying awake at home, if only I had a mindset coach. No, you'd be thinking, I wish I could stop procrastinating. I wish I could stop swimming in all this overwhelm. I wish I'd stop frustrating myself by not taking action. I wish I could grow my business. I wish I could communicate better with my husband, or whatever, specifically it might be. So often what we might say, well, I help women with their mindset, or I help working mums start a business. It's not like, what else is proprietary? Let's go narrow. We need that extra layer to make it stand out, to make it be different. There is so much noise out there. You just picking a general target market, unless you have published a New York Times bestseller, or even just you published a bestseller, or you have access to someone else's audience. I've seen this work very well, where people access other people's audiences and get a platform and get an opportunity. Then your gorgeous personality can maybe win through, right? That can work if you leapfrog someone else's. But if you're starting to build your own, then you need a proprietary message. That means you need something new, fresh, different. And the more specific it is, generally that gets you closer. So the first common problem, it's too broad. The second is that it's too hard to find people with the problem, too hard to find your niche. Okay. Now you want to make sure there's at least 500 people in your target market. Okay. Because you want to be able to run Facebook ads. So yesterday I talked about a mastermind, how to add $10,000 a month with a mastermind offer. Now you could do that with a 2K offer, or a 5K offer, or a 20K offer if you like. It's going to depend, and we talk about deliverables tomorrow. But say you had a 5K offer. All you would need to know is that you are then going, okay, well, I need to probably speak to about 8 to 10 people a month to convert them. Okay, so this is before you've got any funnels. If you've got webinars, you might just be able to make that happen a whole lot quicker. But if you haven't, you want to be having conversations. So not everybody's going to say yes, and that's totally fine. But you want that kind of higher ticket reference point, right? So you'd want to be speaking to 8 people. So in order to speak to 8 new people every month, if you don't have a list, then you need to be running Facebook ads, okay? Now those 8 people might cost you $600 to $800 to talk to in Facebook ads, okay? But then you could be getting 5K sales. It's 10K, okay? So if you want to add 10K, outside of the ad cost, then you'd need to add another person. It's all just math, really, okay? So in order to find them on Facebook, there's got to be a fair few of them, okay? So that's why I'm saying it's really important that you don't want to go so niche that there's less than 500 people that you could target, okay? Now, the other common problem I see all the time is niche drama. Who has niche drama? I often still have niche drama. When I started out, it was like, great, I'm going to help women grow their online business. I started a decade ago. So there were people out there talking about women, but it was really blokey, boyo, guru kind of online marketing world. So it's like decoding it for, a lot of women who were starting their own business, starting their own coaching or consulting businesses. That was enough of a point of difference. My Facebook ads knowledge was enough of a point of difference. Now, there are a lot of people talking about those things. So how do people choose me? It's too broad. It's not enough of a dialed in offer to get a really huge amount of momentum. So I need to find my proprietary system. So what I talk about more is the mastermind. So when you come to me, you're going to see how this mastermind framework works, rather than just learning all the crazy funnel things and setting up all your traffic and conversion. Yes, I'm great at traffic and conversion. I can help you with that. But I want to lead with the simplicity of a mastermind offer, because that's the way as a coach you're going to make more money. It's the fastest way I know how, because I've done it myself, and it will easily add at least 10K to your business. So if you're still struggling around selling one or two of an offer here and there, you're burning yourself out with launches, you are like sending yourself bananas with all the tech, then you are going to love a mastermind offer, because you need very few steps to get a 2K sale, a 5K sale, a 10K sale, whatever it might be. I said yesterday, I got my first mastermind clients, 9 of them, to spend $9,000 with me. At the time, my list was probably about 1,500 people. Okay, so that's the power of a mastermind. I had already done all this work creating all this online course for Facebook ads, and I made $3,000, and then I wasn't making it again every month, right? I want to be able to set myself up with a mastermind offer that gives me recurring monthly revenue, gives me certainty in my income without launching, without fancy funnels. Okay, so that's why I'm here to talk to you about that part of it, because the rest you can learn everywhere. I get it. Right? But I want to show you how to use a mastermind. That's the key point of difference. And why I love it is because it's about the collective. It's also, even today in our mastermind call this morning, a client was saying to me, oh, when I posted that thing in the group and, everyone just jumped on, I just loved it. And I said, yes, because the group is better than me, right? That's what you want. You want the group. The group is the brilliant part of the experience. Who doesn't want to find their people, right? And it's really hard to find that in some of these transformation points. It's not just necessarily business, right? It's a life. It's all the, relationships, purpose, all the stuff that we send ourselves bananas about that we want to get to, and we just need to see other people showing us what's possible, not just one mentor or leader that we can work with one-on-one, that we can, avoid things and avoid taking action. When you're in a group, a nice small group where you can be free to be yourself, where you can be vulnerable, that's where the change happens, and that's what I want you to create. You don't have to be the biggest guru. People will still want to join it when you clearly articulate the value and that you're niched down. That's where you're going to get momentum. I always say to people, you don't have to choose this niche forever, right? You'll have natural resistance to choosing a niche, but you don't have to be in it forever. You can evolve beyond your niche. It's totally fine. And with business, you need to keep evolving, okay? But there's value in consistency. And, you just think, well, there's not enough of those people. I don't want to rule anyone out. But by not wanting to rule anyone out, you're actually ruling more people out. It's counterintuitive, but it's so true. All right. So let's go to some of the offers. I know you want to see kind of examples of how these could work. And I wanted to put them into categories. Are you following along? Please just hit, if you're watching this afterwards, just hit, do hashtag replay and let me know what your questions are. Okay. So health and well-being. All right. So that's a very broad category. Okay, so typically you'll see things like mindset coaching, weight coaching, addiction coaching. Psychologists and therapists fall into this category as well. Naturopaths, nutritionists, dietitians. I mean, right now, if you're in any of those areas, like, hello, it is just boom time. You know, all of those kind of elements broadly, right? But you can imagine if I go, okay, I'm a weight coach. Okay, great. What's different about what you do? Do you have a new take on keto? Do you introduce a new concept like over desire for food? Brooke Castillo talks about that and her life coach school brand, right? So she was like, yeah, she helps people lose weight, but what was different about how she helped lose weight? Well, she introduced the concept of over hunger and over desire, right? And that was what was, when you solve that, you solve overeating, right? Or you, it is overeating, right? So that's her specific niche in terms of weight loss, because how many people talk about weight loss? Now, look, the reason a lot of people talk about it is that a lot of people struggle with it. So it doesn't mean because you help with weight loss that you don't offer that. We just need to find your unique proprietary message. What's new? What's different? What do they need to believe in order to buy? And you know, when people work with me, they love it. I hear that all the time too. But when people work with me, they love it. Well, that's great, but you've got to get them to work with you. So this is more about serving your people. Niching down is more about serving your people, because when people do not know what you do, or you do not make it easy to choose you, you don't make it easy for them to choose you, then there's more people that you're not helping. Stop regaining weight loss after surgery. So when Georgie came to me, she's a psychologist and she helped people with emotional eating. And she said to me, well, you know, like, I just help people with their emotional eating. But, you know, I'm not getting the momentum that I want. And I'm like, that's because emotional eating is such a boring, wide topic. It is an important topic. But when you just say, I'm an emotional eating coach, whatever, heard it all before, right? And I'm an emotional eater. If someone says that, I'm not going to pay attention, right? So what we dug a bit deeper into who she mainly worked with, and who she was working with more, were weight loss surgery patients, people who'd had weight loss surgery. Why was she working more with them? What had happened is after they had their weight loss surgery, they were regaining. They'd lost all this weight. Guess what happens? Brain kicks in after the initial dropping the weight, and the weight comes back on. It's basically textbook that this happens with weight loss surgery patients, because you're cutting out or working on the stomach when it's the mind that's causing the overeating, the overdesire, the compulsive eating, right? So she's working with that, and I was like, great, that is an awesome niche. We're going to go with that. Let's go with reversing the relapse for weight loss surgery people. And she's like, no, there's not, no. So much resistance. No, I don't want to. No, they won't. And then she sort of sat into it and said, okay, great, I want to do that. And then she did, and she was still attached to doing the one-on-one. She thought, because this happens with a lot of psychologists. I work with a lot of psychologists in my programs too. So if you're one of those, come talk to me. I will be able to get you out of that model where you've done a degree and you under-earn like crazy because everything's capped at an hourly session rate, okay? So coaches, therapists, psychologists, practitioners, come sit by me. Anyway, she was still attached to the one-on-one model. She was doing webinars, selling into the one-on-one, and I'm like, why are you not doing this as a mastermind? So she joined my mastermind, but she didn't really want to create a mastermind. She just wanted to dial in the offer, get help with ads and all that kind of stuff, which she did. But I'm like, you're crazy. Like, you got 2 small kids. Why are you doing all these one-on-one sessions? The fact of the matter is that people can run and hide in one-on-one sessions. They can't do that in a group. They can't see and learn from others on the same journey and the obstacles that they're facing. Make it a group program. So of course she did a webinar, sold 6 $5,000 offers on that first webinar, right? So this is what's possible with a niche, because people who do you think was wanting to join? They don't care if it's a group or a one-on-one when you're going to promise to get them over the problem, okay? Doesn't mean you absolve them of their collaborative opportunity to get the result as well. They need to do the work, but you give them the framework, the approach, the support, the guidance. The main reasons why people don't follow through: they don't have accountability, they don't have support, guidance, an easy framework to follow. You you create that with your mastermind. Stop worrying about all your, your advertising, your Facebook ads, unless you have that right, unless you've dialed in your message to market, unless you know where your people are. Don't even go to website and ads. Let's get that fundamentally right. I can help you do some of that on a free call if you want to reach out and do that. I can show you my ninja skills, or you ask in the comments, totally fine. It is my jam, okay? I love it. Another one of my clients came to me, midwife, educator, newborn mother educator for some time. I had a couple of women in that space actually. One wasn't a midwife, she was a doula. One was a midwife. She's still in my mastermind. And she had a $197 course that she was targeting to mothers. So she was like, I'll help you, kind of with the journey of motherhood. Her big passion point is helping mothers kind of adjust to the changes that motherhood brings. It's a stage of life called matrescence, where you journey into motherhood and you have to kind of reinvent yourself. You probably experienced it if you've been a mum and not known, so it's not talked about. But if she went out and said, hey, I'm a matrescence coach, it's like, that's once again being too niche, right? You might have that concept, and I'm not saying throw it out, just saying let's work on the front end messaging so you can deliver that beautiful coaching. So the way we did that with Maria, we went from a 197 course that she'd sold, a handful of, but she definitely didn't have the flow that she was looking for. We tapped into really what she could bring and what she was passionate about. And what she was passionate about was creating circles for women's circles, sacred women's circles for mothers, the power of circle. And then she was able to use that, but then also we kind of flipped it on its head a little bit and said, well, why don't you teach other mothers how to do that for their own, they could curate their own groups of mothers. So it's like a certification that they come and do. And since then, she sold 10, I think she started doing it for a couple of thousand. I can't remember now. This was last year. I probably should remember to tell you. But she was able to sell 10 people straight out of the gate. That was without a fancy funnel. Okay, she didn't do any webinars, nothing. It was like, she did do a live workshop. That was how she sold it. I was like, how did she do that? Live workshop to mastermind, right? People come, they experience the art of circle, and then they invest with her to be in the certification program. And she loves it. And she's got a video now as well. Her name's Maria Golding, if you want to go check her out. She's got a beautiful video. And you should see, this is why I love a mastermind, because when you get to create a container that you can work deeply with people, the things that they say, the things that change in their life, it will just blow your mind. And she has a video that shows that very beautifully. And what I love about it is she can never have done that with a 197 course, never. So that's another thing, Sacred Mama Circles facilitation. There was also Kaylee, who I worked with, who was a psychologist, once again, emotional eating. But we wanted to get into emotional eating. All right, what's the next level of that? She had even started like a 10-week group program in her clinic. And she's like, well, they come and pay me $500 for that. And I'm like, what? They're sitting there in person. I love that you're doing a group, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, $500 and they get to come to you for 10 weeks? Like, are you kidding me? So we moved that virtual. We made it a $3,000 offer, and she was able to sell, after doing a couple of runs of the webinar, she was able to quickly sell 3 people into her $3,000 program. And then I think she got up to 7 within a couple more months. So like, that would have taken her a lot of 500s, right? Or it would have taken, in America, what you get paid per session as a psychologist is crazy. And, I think get $150 a session or something when you're degree qualified. This is crazy. So we wanted to end binge eating for her. That was not for her specifically, but she had struggled with that herself. So her approach was to end binge eating for women. Okay, she was mainly doing women probably 35 plus there. Talia, I was talking about her before, The Loop, like how great her webinar is, being the entrepreneur psychologist, showing women who want to create or grow their own business, how to stop that mindset drama that is keeping them stuck and how to break through that. She came to me a couple of months ago. Actually, she'd been a past client. I get a lot of past clients always come back, which I love. She came back. She bought my online program years ago, actually. She came back and she was like, look, I know, one of her friends had ended up working with me and making multi-6 figures. after coming to me making $4,000 a month as a consultant. So she knew that being in my mastermind was going to help her move ahead, but she was just really doubted herself, doubted she'd have time. She wanted to bust free of the clinic. And that's what she's in the process of doing. So I don't tell you have to drop what you're doing. We have a nice period of transition, right? You can still have money coming in. I don't want you to panic not having the money. And she's like, could I really do this? Could this be for me? And I'm like, yeah. She already sold three $3,000 mastermind spots in her very first webinar. We ran some ads. She's got no audience. Ran some ads. She did do some posts in another group. Got people to a webinar, and the webinar is gold. She followed my framework. So when you work with me, I give you a framework for that, and push you through your own mindset drama around webinars as well. So that's one. So there's some mastermind ideas there. Relationships, how to like reconnect with your husband. So rather than just like, I'm a relationship coach. Okay, who do you help? I help married women reconnect with their husbands so they can have a happier relationship. Okay. Once we did that with Poonam, one of my psychology clients who's often doing a lot of clinic sessions, she's getting like $1 and $2 leads on Facebook with that messaging dialed in. Another one is finding love after divorce. That can be a very specific like kind of relationship or dating coaching, right? So you could be a dating coach. Hey, I'm a dating coach. Well, who for? Men, women, whatever. You know, when we dial that in, you get very specific about that. Or if you're not going to dial in the actual target market, what I'd like you to do is get very clear in your approach or your methodology so that you have kind of something new to hang your hat on there. Okay. So one of my clients before that Finding Love After Divorce had relaunched Love, right? So they were like, okay, it's basically like you're relaunching yourself. How do you do that? What was their process? And they were able to then sell about a dozen 697 courses. They did it as a lower price, but I think they should have done it as a mastermind. Anyway, they didn't want to. Sometimes people want to do it as an online course, and I can help you with that too. I can help you get more sales. I'll be able to diagnose why your online course hasn't worked or why you're not attracting even. I see a lot of life coaches now that I'm a certified life coach as well. I see a lot of life coaches out there who are like, I really just want to coach. You know, I'm so excited to coach, but where do I find these people? It's like, right, well, first of all, you've got to get clear on who those people are and who your niche is. Then we work to position yourself and help you find them. So money coaching, right? So that can be around business coaching or money mindset. I've had, one of my clients I was referencing before, Chantel, who's helped business growth for performing arts studios. She's a master at what she does. She has a multi-million-dollar business doing that now because of the niche, right? She could be like, hey, I'm a business coach. Great. Who's going to choose her? No, she's like, no, if you've got a music studio, a dance studio, a performing arts studio of some description, ballet studio, all that kind of stuff, she will show you how to grow that studio. And my daughter is a singer, and she goes to, she went to the typical music instructor or music teacher, right? He's doing all his sessions himself, charging by the hour, not locking anyone in, and he's brilliant. And he kind of understood branding. He had some fancy logos, and I just said to him, like, can you just please go and see my client Chantel, because I know you need her help. This is not my area, right? You need help, because he'd asked me lots of things about social media, and I'm like, look, just go see the expert, right? And now people choose her because she gets the results and she gets it moving. But what he has done and grown the studio, even Ava, my daughter, said to me the other day, because I said, what are you doing with the end of year concert? And I mean, the level, it's just next level what he does now. And he's got group programs. And Ava said to me, Mum, I love the group so much more. I wouldn't have the confidence I have without the group. Because she could just go to the lesson and he could like slap her around the head a bit and go, no, do it this note. But to be performing with your peers, to be rising up to the same level, it's a mastermind in a different way, right? But I don't know his revenue figures, but I am sure he has 10x'd his business. And he rang me and he said before he was going to join Chantel's mastermind, because she added a mastermind. So when she came to me, she had an online course. It was $2,000. I made her make that $1,000 and then add the mastermind. The mastermind is the back end that gets you momentum. But even if you didn't have the course, you can go straight to the mastermind, right? And he was like, it's a big investment, right? Like, I think she charges about 15 grand or something. At that stage, I think it was about 12, which was a bargain because, oh my goodness, I know he would have made way more than that back from just a handful of clients. So that's the power of a niche. That's her being able to do her great work, by people being able to easily choose her, by her being able to build a movement of people, to get momentum on a level that you just can't when you're a generalist. Okay, unless you've got some amazing story you can hang your hat on. Virtual dietitian practice, business strategist for dietitians. Charlene Oy, a client in my mastermind, came to me last year with a membership. She'd done the Stu McLaren membership model thing. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, there's a place for membership, but it can look really easy. The same with online courses, right? Yeah, just cheap online courses. It's not a business model on its own, right? So she had her $47 membership. It just really wasn't working the way that she wanted it to. She flipped that, first of all, before a virtual dietitian. She's actually onto her second mastermind. She firstly did one mastermind on IBS sufferers because she's a dietitian. Was able to go from $47 a month membership to $3,000 offer. I think she got like 12 people in there super quickly. Then May this year, she said, I want to help other dietitians do this. I want to show them that they can break free from the clinic model, from one-on-one sessions. And she's added 27 mastermind clients to her dietitian's business mastermind, showing dietitians how to break free from clinic, create their own online offer, and have a virtual dietitian practice. Okay. So if you're a dietitian and you want to go online, which dietitians don't in this day and age, right? Who are you going to call? Someone who says they're a dietitian business coach. They could come to me. I'll help them. Like, I help Chantal, I help Charlene. But imagine Charlene knows what the specific struggles of being a dietitian are. I don't know that. I haven't done that myself. So she's going to offer even more value. Beautiful, beautiful. But like 27 mastermind clients since May. She told me that the other day. I was like, are you kidding me? I said, you are such an overachiever. I love it. Purpose Power is the other one. So confidence coaching, success coaching. I have Chrissy, who's in my mastermind at the moment, and she does a hormonal to hot program, right? Fitness and nutrition for menopausal women. And she had been doing lots of different models, like working on, lower priced online courses. It just wasn't really working. Then I just said to her, even just the other day, this isn't demonstrating the mastermind actually, but that'll be your next step. I said, why don't we go higher end? Why don't we go higher ticket and you do some individual coaching as well? She's like, I don't think people will pay for it. As soon as she raised her prices, she's had 7 clients in the last 2 or 3 weeks say yes. Janet is another old client of mine as well. She's not old in age, but old that she was a client of mine before. And, she had been doing a lot of business coaching, offer coaching, getting some great results, but really wasn't finding she had that momentum. She really had that desire to create a mastermind. So when we were drilling down, she just wanted to do general business coaching. And I said to her, why don't you do women of color? Do it for women of color. That's really your passion. That's your big, that's your big dream, to help women of color overcome their visibility fears, get their business stream off the ground. And she has been able to sell $3,000 masterminds like they're going out of fashion. So awesome. She hadn't done that positioning before, right? So that's the value of niching down. It's got to be aligned to you. It's got to be true for you. You've got to be excited about it. A little bit scared is totally fine as well. I hope you've enjoyed today. I've enjoyed being here with you, and I cannot wait to hear from you. Please give me some comments, even if you're watching on the replay, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.